We filmed the last ever scene in the servants' hall yesterday, and all the servants were there, and it was candlelit, and it was a quiet little scene, and I wouldn't have thought it would have been emotional, you know, the life of an actress to move on. And then we all got choked up, we all got caught up by it. And it was as much saying goodbye to the crew who've been with us every single day for 6 years. That was the thing that triggered us all, I think, certainly was me. So we were all a soggy mess, and including some very butch crew members who were great big blokes who were bawling like babies.
That's unusual.
Very bizarre, yeah, very bizarre. Big Lee, the rigger, Lee, I'm outing you, he was sobbing.
Were you tempted to take any little souvenirs from set?
Theft? Are you suggesting that I should indulge in theft?
I mean, it's a perk of the job, isn't it?
No, I wasn't particularly. I kept the last call sheet, and that's all.
There's wedding bells in store this year for you. What sort of groom-to-be does Carson make? Is he a bit of a groomzilla?
Well, let's see. I mean, this romance with Carson and Mrs. Hughes has got to be the slowest burning romance. I mean, tortoises mate quicker than these two, don't they? I mean, let's face it, it's been going on for years with the nation willing them to get together, and it looks as we start Series 6 as if they're about to get together. But of course, under what terms? I mean, I don't want to upset you at this time of day, but can you imagine twin beds, double beds? Let's go no further. So there's lots of negotiation to go on before we hear wedding bells. There are actually, I can give this is not a spoiler, there's quite a lot of wedding bells in this, but I can't tell you who it's between.
That's nice, that's good to hear. What sort of husband do you think he'll make?
Hopeless. Well, I mean, man's been a bachelor for so long and so stuck in his ways and such a creature of routine. He'd be hopeless, but he's got the right woman, because Mrs. Hughes, above anybody, knows how to deal with Mr. Carson, and she'll warm him up and bring out the best side of him. So I think it's an equal match.
He's got another very important relationship in his life with Robert. They're very
Carson
close.
has,
yes.
Yeah.
Will that relationship be affected by their pending nuptials?
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because a butler and a housekeeper didn't get married, so it's a new thing. Everyone's going to have to deal with that. Is she? It affects everybody, really. And also, you know, end of Series 6, there's a feeling of things drawing to a close, things changing, the world is changing, life at Downton is changing, there aren't as many staff around, the whole system is going to have to be sort of altered in strange and dramatic ways that make people turn on their television to watch.
Are you delighted with the ending? Is it pleasing?
I tell you, I sat down and read the Christmas special, and it was a real page-turner, and I think he's managed the ending of this really well, without any silly gas explosions or train crashes or anything like that. You know, we say goodbye to the characters in a very heartfelt way, and I think people will really enjoy that if they have a handkerchief close by.
And what's next for you? Is there anything you can discuss or reveal?
I'm going to sort of do bits and pieces over the autumn. I'm excited. I'm doing a documentary on now. You can't see this young lady, but she's very young, and she will not know. If you could see her, her face is going to go completely blank. I'm doing a documentary on Lonnie Donegan, complete blank.
It's true.
He was the king of skiffle. He was a huge rock and roll star in the 50s. He started British rock and roll, and the Beatles, the Who, the Stones, all sort of credit him as being the start. So I'm doing a documentary about him.
Fantastic. What channel's that for?
That's for ITV. And I interviewed Paul McCartney the other day, who was fabulous.
That's a treat.
He was thrilled to meet me.